My name's Dave Ford and this is my dog Logan, and we're out on another walk in the New Forest. Now today we're back at Brockenhurst, which is a village to the south of Lyndhurst and to the west of Southampton. Now we have visited Brockenhurst before. We went on a route on the eastern side of the village that day. Today we're going to be doing a walk on the western side. We're doing a circular route. I'll put the route details up on screen. The first thing I'll tell you, it is a very cold day today. We've got some company already, by the way. Little New Forest pony. You can tell it's the end of November, looking at that shaggy coat that the pony has, keeping nice and warm. Anyway, we've got to keep warm, and to do that we've got to keep moving. So we are going to head, we're at a place called Butts Lawn, just on the outskirts of the village, and we're going to head in that direction over there. We left our car at the Forestry Commission car park at Balmer Lawn Hotel. We met a couple of pigs in the car park. So while we're heading in that direction, we'll show you some footage of the pigs that we saw earlier. There have been so many acorns this year that the authorities have extended the pannage season right through to the end of December. Normally it's finished by now, so I'm filming mid-November, but as you can see there's plenty of acorns still to be eaten. Of course they let the pigs out on the forest to eat the acorns, because the acorns of course are poisonous for the ponies. So this little critter's quite content. Ooh, I think there's another one over here having a good scratch against a post. They come in all sorts and sizes, that's for sure. Earlier on in the autumn I came across some much smaller pigs. We're heading out to a place called Black Knowl, just passing some allotments. I tried to look up to see if I can find some more information about them, because they're quite a way out from the main part of the village, which is slightly unusual in that they seem to be out in the middle of nowhere. Brockenhurst, by the way, means badger's home in Celtic, I believe. That's why often you see the image of a badger and any insignia that you see on signs and what have you for the village. But I believe at one stage Brockenhurst was voted one of the most beautiful places to live in the UK in a survey. I guess when they did the survey they didn't come to the allotments. We're now heading across an area of land known as Black Knowl, and if I turn the camera around you'll see we're on this dead straight track with quite open space either side. In fact, if I just pan across you can see how open it is. Now at one time this was this whole area actually is a number of former heathland and acidic grassland sites that were set down to lawn following arable cropping to combat food shortages in the Second World War. But most of the area here was too wet to support crops, so they improved the drainage by using a ridge and furrow ploughing system, and but very shortly we should be able to see some man-made ditches. You can always tell they're man-made because they'll be dead straight. And obviously the ditches were there to improve the drainage. But what it has meant now is that you've got this slightly improved quality of grazing for the commoner's stock. And indeed, if I pan over to the left of me, you can see the ponies happily grazing away. And again, you can probably just make out the furrows in the ground, the remains of the previous efforts to drain the land. Okay, so we're going to carry along this path and heading towards Ober Inclosure in the far distance, which dates back to 1829. Made our way across Black Knowl, got to the woods on the other side, and we've just come to you can see a little bridge in the background. That's Bolderford Bridge. Now we're not going over there just yet because that's where we'll be coming back from on our circular route. But the reason I wanted to stop here was just to show you this little anomaly just on my right. See if we can get a little bit closer to it. There's a pond. Now this is the remains of a mid-19th century hydraulic ram system, which apparently is a very simple system without any other external source of power. It pumps water up, well, it has pumped water up in the past from this river to a storage tank in the nearby new park. Now, I know it doesn't look particularly different from any other cube of bricks. You can still see there are some, looks like metal attachments on the top. But if I pan round, I thought I saw just to one side, if we make our, yes, just in the distance there's another little building hidden amongst the trees. Let's go and have a look at that. There's no roof on it. Yes, I believe this is the actual pump house. See if we can get a little bit closer. Ooh, without falling over. There we go. Now, as I said, I had no idea how this works. I did look it up in the internet, and it did explain how the process worked. It was beyond me, but I'll put a picture up, a diagram to show what happened. But you continuing with your investigating, Logan? As you can see, it's pretty wet everywhere. We've had a very wet autumn, but the ground isn't too bad to walk on at the moment. So let's continue. We'll make our way out of this wood, and where are we going to head? Yeah, back out through into that open area, and we're going to follow the side of a wood for quite a bit now. Well, we've just made our way down along the side of Ober Wood, past Ober Corner, and we're just about to go over Ober Water and turn around, see where we are. So we're now going to make a little turn just past the Aldridge Hill campsite. And I've got a rather quaint little bridge to go over, and this is your, I think this is your quintessential New Forest scene. with a lovely stream. As I said, that's Ober water passing through, and the water is so clear as well, very much perhaps a brown tinge to the riverbed. And just have a look on the other side. Of course, all the leaves now turning that golden brown colour. I'm pleased to say I'm beginning to warm up now. Right, we're right in the middle of a vast open area of land called Ober Heath. If I pan round, you'll see just how vast and open this area is. A fantastic place for a dog walk. And as I pan round, the white building in the far distance, that's an old keeper's cottage that we passed. I'll put a photograph of that up on screen so you can see it in more detail. And then finally, as I pan round, just in front of me, you can probably barely make it out. I can hardly see it, and I'm only a few yards away from it, but it is an old burial mound. I'm guessing it's probably Bronze Age, I should imagine, but it's only a few feet high, but there is a noticeable ditch around it, but you could easily miss it if you weren't so looking out for it. Okay, so we're going to carry on along here and head towards, in the very far distance, another bit of woodland which is called Poundhill Inclosure. Well, we've just made our way past the Poundhill Inclosure. I'll just show you where we've come from. Very far distance you might be able to make out a tree. It's in the middle of nowhere, and there's a deer hide in front of it. We've just seen deer. I can never get close enough to them, but they were definitely here. And as you can see, a little moist underfoot. If you were coming here in the winter, I would certainly recommend bringing along some some waterproof shoes. But as we're here, I'm just going to squelch my way through. It's got this little sort of outcrop of silver birch, and a lot of them have got these incredible fungi growing out of them. Look at this one here. That just seems to have almost been part of the tree, and they're everywhere. If I look over at this this tree here, he says squelch, squelch, squelch. Looking all the way up this tree, They're just gradually growing outwards. Okay, now let's head for some dry land, Logan. I can see a cycle track ahead of me, so that should be fairly firm. There we go, just a reminder that we're in a deer conservation area. And round. Yeah, nice little bridge, although we are going to head to the right, so we're actually not going to cross over that bridge. But again, another reminder, there we go, all dogs on leads, that if we look out, oh yes, I can see some more deer, quite a lot of them in the distance there, which you won't be able to see. I am getting a new camera which has a zoom on it, you'll be pleased to hear. But this is known as Queen's Meadow, and it's as you can see, open grassland. But which queen does it relate to? People aren't 100% sure. There were repairs to a mill with, and I quote, accommodation for the Queen, unquote, nearby, recorded in 1310. So perhaps it was Queen Isabella of France who married Edward II in 1308. Although a local historian suggests it might have been Eleanor of Castile, wife of Edward I from 1254 to 1290, as it seems more likely that a queen would have stayed in the mill some significant time before 1310, as it was in need of repair by then. But oh no, certainly I think at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there's probably about 20 deer out there now. Okay, so where are we going to head? Cross over this bridge, and we're now going to follow this stream alongside a really ancient bit of woodland. Oh, lovely, very old oak tree there. Something that I didn't realise until I read quite recently, a chap called Hayward Sumner, who spent his life exploring the archaeology, geology and folklore in the New Forest. He wrote a book in 1924, and it basically stated that oaks in this area don't grow that tall due to the poor soil, but instead extend their branches horizontally or in irregular shapes, thus apparently making the timber more adapted to what shipbuilders call knees and elbows, in other words, sort of bent and curved wood. And that actually made it more valuable. Well, just before we go over this little bridge that goes over Lymington River, just a little detour into the deep dark woods, I've been looking for some old clay pits. Indeed, I've found one here, and also there are some remains of 3 very roughly circular temporary clamp kilns, and they're basically those were used for making bricks in the 18th century. I say this is one of the pits here, you can just about make out. Now, according to the map, there is somewhere in these woods an earthwork remains of the Queen Bower, which was a medieval keeper's lodge. Well, I'm sorry folks, after about 5 or 10 minutes of searching I haven't found it. I'll try and put a picture up on screen. Now, how do we get out of here? Just going over another little bridge, and this is now the Lymington River, I believe, and it's where 3 streams around here basically merge. You have the Highland water, Fletchers water and Ober water, and this goes obviously through to Brockenhurst. right back to the car park actually, where we saw the pigs right at the beginning. Well folks, we've come to the end of our walk. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and hopefully you'll be able to join us for another walk in the New Forest sometime in the future. Logan and I are off for a bowl of hot soup somewhere. In the meantime, thanks for watching and cheerio.